Aim high, 3. Exercise 2. Read and listen to the text.
Unknown white male. On the 3rd of July 2003, a 35-year-old Englishman called Doug Bruce walked into a police station in Coney Island, New York, and told the police that he did not know his own name. He had woken up a few minutes earlier on a subway train with bumps on his skull and a headache, and had no idea where he was going, where he had been, or who he was. "I was scared," he said later, when talking about the experience. "I didn't know anything. It was like being in the darkness." Doug went to a police station because he had nowhere else to go. He was wearing a t-shirt, shorts, and flip-flops, and he had a rucksack with a few possessions in it: a Spanish phrase book, a bunch of keys, and a map of New York. The police were baffled. "We'd never had anything like this before," says Lieutenant Pete Pena. They sent Doug to Coney Island Hospital. On his name tag, the nurse wrote, "Unknown white male." The doctors were surprised at the severity of his memory loss. Although Doug could form sentences without difficulty, he remembered nothing about his own past, and his general knowledge was very patchy. One specialist at the hospital, Dr. Leonid Vorobyev, admitted that he had only ever seen such serious amnesia in the movies and in my textbooks. Doug was diagnosed as suffering from total retrograde amnesia, which is extremely rare. The hospital authorities would not discharge Doug until he had been identified. Finally, hospital staff came across a phone number scrawled in his phrase book. It was the number of a friend's mother. Doug phoned, and when his friend Nadine spoke to him, she recognized his voice at once. "Is that you, Doug?" she said. "I don't know," came the reply. Nadine went to the hospital, told the doctors who Doug was, and escorted him home. Home turned out to be a stunning apartment in downtown Manhattan, which he shared with 2 dogs and 3 parrots. Doug discovered that he had previously lived in Paris, where he had made a lot of money working at the stock exchange. Apparently, he had got tired of the business world, and so he had resigned and gone to New York to enroll in a 4-year course in photography. Now that Doug had discovered his identity, he had to cope with other challenges. He was worried about meeting his family and friends. They seemed like strangers to him. His sisters told him that he had changed. Before his memory loss, he had been very sociable and outgoing, but rarely showed his emotions. Now, he has become much more relaxed and isn't scared of showing his feelings. He's happy with his new life, and his story has now been portrayed on film. An old friend of his, director Rupert Murray, has made a documentary about Doug's extraordinary experiences called Unknown White Male.